The Gruesome Crimes of Joe Metheny, a true horror story. Some killers are remembered not just for the lives they took, but for the horrifying ways they lived. In Baltimore during the 1990s, a man named Joe Metheny roamed the streets, a giant of a man with an appetite for cruelty. He was a murderer, a monster, and his crimes still haunt the city to this day. This is the terrifying story of Joe Metheny, the Baltimore killer whose name became synonymous with brutality. Joseph Ray Metheny was born in 1955, raised in Maryland, and lived a life marked by neglect and anger. His father died when he was young, and his mother struggled to raise him. By adulthood, Joe had grown into a massive man over 6 feet tall and weighing more than 400 pounds. But behind his size was a dangerous rage. Friends described him as intelligent but twisted, a man who drank heavily, used drugs, and drifted through life with no real direction. He was a drifter, a laborer, and eventually, a killer. In the mid-90s, Metheny's life spiraled into violence. He became obsessed with revenge after his girlfriend left him and took their child. Fueled by drugs and rage, he began luring vulnerable women many struggling with addiction into his world. Several of them never made it out alive. Metheny later admitted to multiple murders, though the exact number remains unclear. Some victims were known by name, others simply vanished. What made Joe Metheny so terrifying wasn't just the killings themselves, it was what he claimed he did afterward. When Metheny was finally arrested in 1996, he confessed to a series of shocking acts. In a chilling courtroom testimony, he claimed that after murdering some of his victims, he butchered their remains, mixed the flesh with pork and beef, and sold it as food. According to him, he ran a roadside stand, serving burgers made of human meat. Customers, he said, ate them without ever knowing. Though investigators could never fully prove the cannibalism, the mere possibility was enough to make him infamous. Whether it was true or just a horrifying boast, it cemented his reputation as one of America's most gruesome killers. Police arrested Metheny in December 1996 after the discovery of 2 bodies. During questioning, he confessed in chilling detail to multiple murders, telling detectives he had no remorse. In fact, he seemed proud of what he had done, bragging about how easy it was to prey on vulnerable people. His words painted the portrait of a man who saw human life as disposable, something to be consumed and discarded. Joe Metheny was convicted of multiple murders and sentenced to death in 1998. Later, his sentence was reduced to life in prison without parole. Even behind bars, he continued to boast about his crimes, giving interviews where he described himself as heartless and cruel. He claimed to be addicted not to drugs, but to killing. On August 5, 2017, Joe Metheny was found dead in his prison cell at the age of 62. The cause of death was never publicly revealed, but some saw it as a quiet end for a man who had thrived on spreading terror. But his story didn't end with his death. The legend of Joe Metheny, the Cannibal Killer of Baltimore, continues to spread fear, whether every detail he confessed was true or not. The case of Joe Metheny is one of the darkest chapters in American crime. A man fueled by rage, addiction, and cruelty who turned the city of Baltimore into his hunting ground. Some say the scariest part I ascend to what we know he did is what we will never know. How many victims truly vanished at his hands? And were his claims of feeding human flesh to unsuspecting strangers reality? Or just a twisted fantasy? Either way, one thing is certain. Joe Metheny was a monster hiding in plain sight, and his crimes remain some of the most gruesome in true crime history.